in Mali. So what would happen if there was a fallout? We know. We have an idea. Because in Sudan, it has already happened. The group that they support, the RSF, today has the upper hand. The Sudanese National Army has been fought to the corner. News that captures everyone's attention today is the Russia-Ukraine war. And it's my belief that you've probably heard about this mercenary group called the Wagner that has tried or attempted to take power in Russia. And that is not according to me, but from Western media. Those are the headlines today. That this mercenary group was supposed to mobilize about 5,000 to 10,000 men and move 400 kilometers to Moscow and remove the government there. Remove Putin from power.
Well, that was fast. The West was having fever dreams and fantasies that Putin was about to be overthrown in a civil war. Yes, they called it a civil war, actually. Russia was about to fall.
So how did it start? Now, the head of this Russia's Wagner mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, claimed that his soldiers have entered Russia to remove the country's top military leadership. And from his utterances, his beef is with the Minister of Defense, Shoigu. And it didn't start just recently. It's been going on for over a year because this mercenary group have been fighting for Russia in Ukraine. They were the ones fighting in Bakhmut. And they were saying that the Minister of Defense is ordering the field commanders from the Russians or the Russian soldiers not to cooperate with these mercenaries. They are refusing to give them artillery pieces. They are refusing to give them basically ammunition. And I understand, because if he was to give them a lot of all these weapons, this would make this mercenary group more powerful and give it power to recruit more soldiers, to a point of even challenging the national army of Russia. That could have been the reason. And by now it is starting to make sense, because back here in Africa we can relate, because in Sudan this RSF group started as a mercenary for the dictator al-Bashir, and you know what they were doing there, in Darfur. And they let alone started going to other countries. They fought in Libya. 10,000 fighters from the RSF in Sudan were in Libya fighting for General Haftar. Some of them went to fight in Yemen on behalf of the Saudis and the Emiratis. So UAE was paying about 10,000 of these RSF fighters, and Saudi Arabia had also the same, had a good number of these fighters fighting the Houthis in Yemen. So they are mercenaries. They have been fighting these wars where they are paid. And back in Sudan, they are very powerful, because they control gold mining in Sudan. Today, Sudan is one of the top 3 gold exporters in the world, and it is said that Sudan could have the top 2 largest gold deposit from Western Sudan in the region of Darfur, and it is under the control of this RSF, and they do not operate alone. They are supported by foreign fighters, mercenaries. The Wagner group, the Wagner fighters, are in Sudan working alongside these RSF mercenaries to mine gold in Sudan and export it. So you can look that up. But 1,200 Wagner fighters are in Sudan today. So now you are beginning to see the bigger picture. You're also beginning to see the relationship. The mistake that was made in Sudan, that has led Sudan to what it is today, was almost going to happen in Russia, where this mercenary group is given all these weapons, is given all this power, it is recruiting prisoners and growing its numbers. If this Russian Ministry of Defense was not keen, today we'll be talking about 250,000 Wagner mercenaries. Now that is a bigger force that can even challenge, the Russian army. Imagine if the CIA threw in a bit of billions to this kind of mercenary group and just instructed them to turn around and fight the Russians. They would do it, because these are prisoners. All they care about is getting paid and basically moving on with their life. So 10 billion, 20 billion US dollars could turn around a mercenary army to change allegiance and start fighting, their previous partners.
Мы патриоты своей родины. Мы воевали и воюем.
Now that we have identified this monster that is the mercenary group, back here in Africa, we have 1,400 of this Wagner mercenary group in Central African Republic, pretending to be protecting the government there, pretending to be offering protection to the president of the Central African Republic. But their main goal is to protect the diamond mines in Central African Republic. So, what happened? There was this group of rebels from the north called the Seleka, and the Selekas came and removed the government in Bangui in the Central African Republic, and they also started mining diamonds in that country because it is rich in diamonds. They were later on removed. In 2014-2015, this Wagner mercenary group came in, and now they have been this government protected by this Wagner, but their main goal there is to mine the diamonds, and that's how they are paid, or that's how they pay themselves. So the diamonds in the CAR is the reason why they are there. Then we move on to Mali. And all of you would think Mali is just a desert country, but you forget the story of Mansa Musa, the rich African king who was the richest man to have ever lived. He was from Mali, and he was rich because of gold. So that means Mali still has a lot of gold there. So the Wagner mercenaries are in Mali because of the gold. But from what I hear is that they're also very effective. Their methods of fighting breaks almost all international laws and the Geneva Convention. But of course, the people they are fighting, the jihadis, are no better. They also break the same laws and the same rules. And that's why Mali needed these mercenaries, because they are very effective. But now back to our question. What would happen if there was a fallout, misunderstanding between these Wagner mercenaries and these African governments? And because when I say 1,400 Wagners in the Central African Republic, I'm talking about special force level of fighters, ex-Spetsnaz, ex-Syrian special forces. Because a lot of you don't know that Wagner was fighting in Syria in 2014, in Aleppo. And after the operation there, some of the Syrian special forces resigned and followed the money. So they joined the Wagner. So those people are in those countries, and they're very experienced. 1,400 special forces in a country like the CAR, or 600 special forces in Mali. So what would happen if there was a fallout? We know. We have an idea, because in Sudan, it has already happened. The group that they support, the RSF, today has the upper hand. The Sudanese National Army has been fought to the corner. So they control all the airports there. They control the capital city. So gold in Sudan is still being shipped out. And from Russia, we've seen what they can do. A group of 5,000 Wagner thought that they can advance and capture Moscow. They don't care about the numbers. They don't care that they're outnumbered, almost 1:100. They don't care about that. The fact that they think 5,000 people can do it, the fact that they think they can do it by itself is a threat. So 1,400 of them in the CAR think that they can take over that government. And that is the threat. 600 of them in Mali think that they can take over the Mali government. And that is the threat.